Teruvan Saranai. A very good morning to each and every one of you. So, we are all going to spend a very auspicious, very wholesome day together. So, this is our Vesak celebration online program. So, we have especially created the baby Siddhartha statue to commemorate the birth of the Buddha. And of course, Vesak is also the day to commemorate the enlightenment and also the passing away of the Buddha into parinirvana. So in this morning, we are going to first of all observe the 8 precepts. So that is our plan today. We are going to observe the 8 precepts and try to spend a very wholesome day, the day with such a great mindfulness to follow these precepts and then bring up a training to our mind. So if you we need to observe the 8 precepts. So if you like to have that chanting, the observation of the 8 precepts, so you can download it now actually. If you are joining us from Zoom, in the chat section, if you go to chat section, there's a link that you can go and click and upload the document that guide you to give you the chanting and text to recite when we observe the 8 precepts. So if you are joining with us through YouTube, in the YouTube also there's a live chat section. If you go there, there's also the link, the same link there in the YouTube live chat section. And if you click that link, and you will get the chanting, the recitation of the text to observe the 8 precepts. So I will give you a few minutes for you to go and download that document so you can recite, chant. YouTube. Itu gitu. Ban apa nampen namanya? Apa? Ada silbi luar kayak nang Okay, now we can start. I think you all have the chanting papers. I'm going to guide you anyway, but if you download the document, that will be easy. Okay, so this is a very important moment. So we are going to make a commitment that we are going to spend this whole day following these precepts and be mindful of these precepts as a way of training our mind. These precepts are to discipline our body and discipline our speech. So in that way, we can help to focus more on our mind. And these precepts are the set of precepts that Buddha has recommended us to practice for lay people at least, once a few times a month on full moons and new moons days. So let us, follow that advice of the Buddha. So now, traditionally, when we observe the precepts, you need to make a request to help you to administer the precepts. So in the chanting papers, there's a request given in Pali, but I'm going to help you to chant that. So please chant after me. This is to formally request from the monks that the requesting to administer the 8 precepts. So please recite after me now. Put your palms together and repeat after me. Okasa ahang bhante tisaranena saddhing Atthanga uposatha silang Dhammang yachami Anuggahang katva Silang dethami bhante Anukampang upadaya Dutiyampi Tisaranena saddhing Atthanga uposatha silang Dhammang yachami Anuggahang katva Silang dethami bhante Anukampang upadaya Tatiyampi Okasa ahang bhante Tisaranena saddhing Atthanga uposatha silang Dhammang yachami Anuggahang katva Silang dethami bhante Anukampang upadaya Yamahang vadami tang vadet. Say Ama Bhante. Let us now recite Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato 3 times. Please recite Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. The 3 refuges, please recite after me. Buddhang sarenang gacchami. Dhammang sarenang gacchami. Sanghang sarenang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang sarenang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang sarenang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang sarenang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang sarenang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang sarenang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang sarenang gacchami. Now the 8 precepts. Panati pata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinādāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Abrahmacharya veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majjapama dattana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Vikala bhojana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Nachcha gita vadita visuka dassana mala gandha vilepana dharana mandana vibhusa natthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Uchchāsayana mahāsayana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Tisaranena saddhiṃ atthāṅga uposata sīlaṃ dhammang sādhukaṃ surakkitaṃ kattvā appamādena sampādē tabbaṃ. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let us now understand the precepts, and maybe we can read the precepts in English also. So we can maybe you can repeat after me in English the 8 precepts we just observed. I undertake the training rule to abstain from taking life. I undertake the training rule to abstain from stealing. I undertake the training rule to abstain from incelibacy. I undertake the training rule to abstain from false speech. I undertake the training rule to abstain from intoxicating drinks and drugs causing heedlessness. I undertake the training rule to abstain from eating at improper times. I undertake the training rule to abstain from dancing, singing, music, shows, wearing garlands, using perfumes, and beautifying with cosmetics. I undertake the training rule to abstain from use of high and large seats and beds. These are the 8 precepts you just observed. Remember that these precepts are to help us to train our mind, and also this is a way of living our life in a very pure manner throughout this day. So we try to be mindful of each precept whenever we speak and whenever we move around, and we try to live within these precepts, following these precepts throughout the day. And the reason that we observe the extra last 3 precepts at the end, because usual number 1 to 5 are the 5 precepts that we usually observe, but there's one important difference in the precept number 3. Usually in the 5 precepts we observe the precepts to abstain from sexual misconduct, but in this 8 precepts, like today, we observe the training rule to abstain from incelibacy, which means that any contact of intimacy or any that kind of even physical of intimacy is not going to we are not going to do that today, and we want to keep our mind as pure as we can. And the reason that we have this abstain from eating at improper times, mainly that is to practice moderation of eating and have mindful eating, and not to simply to follow our urges all the time. Usually we have urge to eat something anytime, so we are going to observe that, but simply not to follow those urges, and we try to minimize, and we try to minimize the how many times we are going to eat. We will have our breakfast and we will have our lunch, and then after that we will try to stay without eating any solid food throughout the afternoon. Of course, we can drink. That is to practice the moderation of eating, and also to train our mind to observe our own urges, always to gratify our tongue, and we observe it and we notice it, we abandon it as a way of training. And the seventh one is also important, that is to abstain from any form of entertainments, and also any form of beautifications. That is also to help us to focus more on our meditation and more on our observation of our own mind. So all these dancing, singing, music can be distracting things for our inner contemplation. And also beautification is not a life of simplicity. Today we want to experience how it feels like to live simply. So we will restrain from using any beautification, just be as who we are in a very simple manner. And then also training rule to abstain from using high and large luxurious seats and beds. So we want to use simple seats, and if you are sitting on a chair, so it's not really high chair, but usually according to tradition you can have it like 14 inches. 14 inches could be okay, so not beyond than that. And also luxurious seats, that is also to practice simplicity. not to have unnecessary comfort, but to try to live a very simple life. So, last three precepts are especially the three precepts that we observe not every day, definitely, but on these special days as a way of helping us to train our mind. So these precepts can really help us to watch our own mind to do those things, urge us to do those things, and we can understand the nature of the mind, sometimes how we are so conditioned to those things, and we observe them and we watch them, we then let them subside, and we live by our precepts. So that way we can train our mind. So these are the eight precepts that we are going to follow. I hope that you will be mindful of these precepts. If we can follow these precepts towards the end of the day, that's a great success. And this is how the enlightened masters lived their lives. So we are kind of imitating and following their lifestyle for today. So I hope that we can follow that. So with that, now we will do our first um, veneration of the Buddha. So now you have observed the precepts. So yeah, you are more closer to the Buddha now. We call upasaka or upasika those people who have come close to the Buddha. So be rejoice and be confident that you have taken these vows, taken these precepts. You are closer to the Buddha. You are more pure now. So with that pure heart, let us together do the offerings to the Buddha and do together chant. So we will also provide the link for the chanting books also. Chanting book. So I hope that you have prepared some whatever offerings you prepare at your home. We also have prepared offerings here. I'm going to light these candles and incense, and meanwhile. We will upload the we will put the link for our chanting book in our YouTube and Zoom. Um, top it, next page. Okay, let us now together pay homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha and make our offerings. And if you like to look at the chanting book, now you can find the link for that chanting book in our chat section. So if you like to download that, you can do it now. You can go to the chat section and click the link, and then you will go to the chanting book. You can download the chanting book from that link. Okay, let us now together pay homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And on this special day, we are showing our gratitude, we are showing our honor and great respect to the Buddha, thinking about great virtues of the Buddha. We offer these candles and incense, flowers, all other items of the Buddha as a way of remembering different virtues of the Buddha. On this special day, let us make a wish. May these candle lights be offered to the Buddha in appreciation and in honor of his great wisdom that dispel the darkness of ignorance from the minds of sentient beings. And we will offer this incense to honor the great moral fragrance of the Buddha. And we will offer these flowers to honor the great blossom compassion of the Buddha. And we will offer this water to honor the great cooling loving kindness of the Buddha. And we will offer these drinks and then food items to the Buddha in honor of his great generosity, great dana paramita. May this offering be an act of honoring to the Buddha, and we may also develop same inclinations to develop same wisdom, similar moral qualities, compassion, loving kindness, and generosity in our mind. So may we also work in the path towards that enlightenment. With these aspirations in the mind, let us now chant together. Salutation to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Buddha. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vijjācarena sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manussanang buddho bhagavati. Homage to the Dhamma. Sakkato bhagavata dhammo sangdittiko akaliko ehi pansiko openaiko paccattam veditabbo Vinyuhiti. Homage to the Sangha. Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujjupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyaya patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samiti patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidang chattari purisa yugani Attha purisa puggala Esa bhagavato savaka sango ahuniyo pahuniyo dakkhiniyo anjali karaniyo anuttarang punyak ketang lokasati. Offering of light, pahan pujaව, ඝන සාරප්පදිත්තේන දීපේන තමදංසිනා තිලෝකදීපං සංබුද්ධං පූජයාමි තමුනුදං. Offering of incense, සුවඳදුම් පූජාව, ගන්ධ සංභාරයුත්තේන ධූපේනහං සුගන්ධිනා පූජයේ පූජනීයං තං පූජා භාජන මුත්තමං. Offering of flowers, mal pujava, vanne gandha gunopetang etang kusuma santatin pujayami muning dassa siripade saroruhe pujemi buddhang kusumena nena punyena mitena labhami mokkhang puppang milayati yataidang vi kayo tatayati vinasa bhavang. Offering of water, pen pujava, adhivase no bhangte paniyang parikampitang anukampang upadaya patigan hatu uttama. Offering of drinks, gilan pasa pujava, adhivase no bhangte gilan panchayang imang anukampang upadaya patigan hatu uttama. Offering of food, if you have them, ahara pujava, adhivase no bhangte bhojanang parikampitang anukampang upadaya patigan hatu uttama. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Homage to the shrines. Vandami chetiyang sabbang sabbatani supatititang saririka dhatu mahabodhin Buddha rupang sakalang sada. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. Now, today we have planned a number of programs to help you to spend this day as wholesome as you can. So, this session will end at 8 o'clock, and then you will have a break for breakfast. So, we have the 30 minutes break for breakfast. And then at 8:30, you can be back. And at 8:30, there will be a guided meditation by Bante Punne from 8:30 to from 8:30 onwards. So you can take a break at 8 o'clock and come back just before 8:30 and be ready for meditation. And then after the meditation, there'll be a Dhamma talk, and I will conduct that Dhamma talk. And then after that, we will have a discussion after the Dhamma talk. So we have opportunity to learn, and if you also like to ask questions, so you can join through Zoom and then ask questions on that. And after the discussion, then we will have our midday offerings. 11 o'clock, we will have Buddha Puja, offering to the Buddha in the similar way. And then after the Buddha Puja, we will have our second break, that is for lunch. So we encourage you to take your lunch before 12 o'clock, before midday. So that will be the last solid meal that you will take for today. So that is the lunch break. And then after the lunch, we'll have some break until 12:30. So then we will come back at 12:30. At 12:30, we will have a walking meditation, Sakman Bhavana. And then just after the Sakman Bhavana, the walking meditation, we will have a sitting meditation also. Then after that, then we will have a session of discussing a discourse from the Buddha. So we'll focus on one discourse, and then you should have received an email of the sutra that we are going to discuss today, of that discourse. So you can print it out, that sutra, during your breaks, and then we will also put the link in our chat section, so you can also click that link and then download it, and if you like, you can print out it, and then we can have discussion, and Bante Metta will conduct that discussion. And after that, there's another meditation session at 2:30 on breathing meditation, and Bante Punna will conduct that part. Then at 12:15, we have our third break, a tea break. That is a shorter one, 15 minutes tea break. And after that break, we will come back at 3:15, and then we will 3:30. 3:30 we will come back, and then we will have a special Bodhi Puja. So you see the Bodhi tree behind me. So on this day, on the full moon day, the Buddha attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. So Buddha himself showed his gratitude for the Bodhi tree for helping him, sheltering him to attain enlightenment. So today we will also honor the Bodhi tree. So there's a special chanting and singings we do to poems, recitation of poems we do. So Bante Metta will conduct that. So we will have that honoring at 3:30. And then after the Bodhi Puja, the offering to the Bodhi, honoring the Bodhi tree, then we will have another chanting session. We will chant Parit or Pirit. So we can together chant, or we can listen to the chanting of the monks. At the end of the chanting, you can either choose to dismiss the precepts, or maybe you can release the precepts. Disavow the precepts if you wish, or if you like to continue until tomorrow morning, and you can do that. So that also. But then after that session, we will have devotional songs because we dismiss our precepts before the devotional songs, because while we're having precepts, you don't sing. So if you decide to continue the precepts until tomorrow morning, you better not join the devotional songs. But if you can choose to disavow the precepts at 4:45, and then join the devotional songs afterwards. So that's our program today. So there are many things lined up for you. So I hope that you will join as many items as you can to benefit from this program. And so today, especially the Vesak day, the full moon was actually last Thursday. But this is the Vesak season, the period that we can make special practices to experience the freedom that Buddha pointed out us to experience, and also develop our deeper understanding of the teachings of the Buddha, and also our compassion. So that is why we have planned all these programs today. I think so. We also have this special the statue of the baby Siddhartha, and usually that is something that we will always have for Vesak ceremony. So you will have that over here to remind ourselves, how the Buddha was born as just like us. Of course, he has a little bit of special birth because of his, so much of his practice in his previous lives. But his life was the life of a normal human being. But his father actually made a life for him, which is quite artificial. So this is something that we can reflect on this day. Because there's a prediction about this little baby Siddhartha by a highly advanced sage, saying that this baby has a potential either to become a universal monarch, a great ruler, or he can be a religious teacher. So definitely his father wanted him to become a great ruler of the world. So, and father wanted to create an environment that the baby Siddhartha, his son Siddhartha, will not be disappointed with anything in the world. So therefore, the father Siddhartha, father Suddhodana, the father of the Prince Siddhartha, the king Suddhodana created an environment around the Prince Siddhartha, which is everything is pleasant, everything is perfect. That there are no old people around him. There are nothing to be disappointed about anything. And he made special palaces for him to live. One palace for summer, another palace for winter, another palace for spring. In northern India, there are only three seasons. So everything was nicely arranged for him. So when I was thinking about this life that Prince Siddhartha had, I think most of the time, how maybe the modern civilization create our life is not very different from the life of Prince Siddhartha. Many younger people today, particularly in developed countries, are living a life quite similar to the life that Prince Siddhartha had. So, of course, now we don't have a special palace for winter, but we have heating systems, and we have other lot of advancements are here. So our life has become very comfortable. Because of that, sometimes we can be deluded. Our comforts can delude us. Our comfortable environment can delude us. So many younger generation would think that life all over the world is the same kind of life that they are having, and also so sometimes when we have so much of comfort, we don't see the reality of life. So what happened to the Prince Siddhartha was that his he was blinded to the reality of the life. He was living in a kind of bubble, in an artificially constructed environment, and he was living there. But of course, you cannot maintain such a world. You cannot maintain such a life forever, because the reality of the life is going to come to us. So we need to understand the reality of the life also. Everything will not happen perfectly in our life, and our comforts not will not be continuous. There can be moments of breaking. And so when the Prince Siddhartha first encountered the old age and sicknesses and all other aspects of the reality of the life, he was quite shocked, and he was quite serious about those predicaments in human life. So I think so we also need to think that, especially when we are living in a developed society, technologically developed society, economically developed society, and we create a kind of world which is not natural, which sometimes hide the realities of the life. And thus, that comfort, that artificially created environment is really comfortable. We need to have basic comfort, definitely, but we should not allow those comforts to blind us from the realities of the life. And sometimes when everything is nice and perfect, and we take everything for granted, and then we think that we can control everything, and we develop our pride, our arrogance, and sometimes then we will look down on others, and we try to conquer everything around us. So we can start to live a life of controlling and owning, and but that is not a healthy way of living, and that is also not something practical that we can continue. So so much to learn from the life of the Buddha, even before he became the Buddha. And but what happened with the case of Prince Siddhartha, that he was able to see the meaning of life, with the first encounter of the realities of the life. And he was living in this very comfortable, nice, palaces with everyone is attendant to him, and there's no point that there'll be any discomfort for him. There's no word of no for him. And sometime our children would be like that. Sometime our children will not hear the word no because all the facilities are around them. But that is not the real life. I mean, sometimes things are not available for us. We have to encounter that there are no things, no milk for us. No that facility. We have to learn to endure that. In the case of Prince Siddhartha, the first encounter of the reality of life helped him to break from his delusion and become serious about these realities of the life and find a way to live with the reality, not to hide from the reality, not to run away from the reality, not to create a secluded environment that he will not be affected by the reality, but try to find a way to live with the reality, and with deeper understanding, deeper acceptance, deeper compassion. So he was able to really get the message with the first encounter of the reality of the life. But many of us, we may have encountered these realities many times, but sometimes, but we will not learn the lesson. We will try to kind of block those experience from us, and come back and live in our a bubble world. We live in the world that we artificially constructed and blocking every realities from the life. But I think particularly during this period, the period that we are living right now, due to this health crisis, this pandemic, I think our bubble has burst a little bit. Our like artificially constructed world, it has kind of shocked a little bit, and we are beginning to realize that the kind of life that we were living was not really natural. We try to run away from the nature. We try to create a world, a life that is separated from the rest of the nature, and very comfortable, very that's something. And we also had delusion that we can control everything, and we can change everything. But now I think we are realizing that we are not the masters of this world, and and we cannot simply run away from the reality. We cannot maintain an artificial, comfortable world, and we need to come down to the realities of the life. We have to find a way to live with these realities of the life. We have to find a way to be connected with the nature, and we have to have more humble way of living, and more connection to the other people and all classes of people and all classes of beings. So the life of the Buddha can teach us so many things. So I think this pandemic has taught us, we need some kind of renunciation. just like the renunciation that the Prince Siddhartha had, some kind of renunciation, some kind of change of the way that we lived our lives, the more authentic kind of life. We need to move to more authentic kind of life, more natural kind of life, the life that is more connected with the nature, more humble kind of life. Not in a delusion of controlling and overcoming everything, and not always living a life of gratifying our senses and buying as many things as possible and somehow make ourselves as comfortable as we can, without knowing that how much suffering that life creates for others. So let us learn that lesson from the life of the Buddha. Let us try to make some kind of renunciation from the more some kind of a sensual kind of life that we spend, but start a more authentic way of life. So today is the best day to reflect on that. So have that message in your mind. So we will spend the whole day learning the teachings of the Buddha, learning a deep reality of our life, and how much how much more meaningful life we can live. How much more compassionate life we can live. And we are so fortunate that teachings of the Buddha are available to us. Although he appeared many centuries ago, and his teaching was preserved because Buddha established a community of followers, and he was such a great leader, great spiritual teacher. So his teachings are still available for us, for all humanity, for all sentient beings. So today, let us try to experience and embody those teachings, and that will help us and also so many other living beings too. So I hope that may today be a very wholesome day for you, a day, very meaningful day for you, very fruitful day for you, and make that determination that may I spend one of the most wholesome days in my life, one of the most purest days in my life, and one of the most fruitful days in my life. Make that determination now. And now we will have our first break, and please go and have your breakfast, and try to eat breakfast with so much of mindfulness today. Before we eat your food, and spend a moment of gratitude, and feel grateful for all people, all beings who produce this food, who transported this food. Now we know that having some kind of any food in front of us is not a simple thing. So many other people have to work so hard to bring even a simple food to our table. So we can be grateful to everyone who brought this food for you, and then reflect that I'm eating this food just to help my practice today, and not for any other beautification, just to help my practice today. And then you can eat mindfully without talking. We have to eat with our mouth, so therefore we cannot talk. So without talking, we try to finish our meal. We first arrange everything we need. We bring our water, we bring our drinks and everything we need, and very mindfully, after being grateful, spend a moment of gratitude, and we will mindfully eat until the end of the meal. We try not to speak unless in an emergency. So let us try to do that. Let us have our break, and we will meet again at 8:30. Thank you, everyone.